Eignarfornöfn. Possessive pronouns. Samtal 1. Húfan og jakkinn. Heyrðu, þetta húfan þín, Kristín? Já, hún mín, kæra þakkir. En hvað með þennan jakka? Þetta jakkinn þinn líka? Nei, því miður veit ég ekki hver á hann. Það maður að labba hingað til okkar núna, kannski jakkinn hans. Þú ert búin að finna jakkan minn, takk kærlega fyrir. Það var ekkert, gerðu svo vel. Possessive pronouns are words such as my, your, her, his, and so on. In Icelandic, these words normally come after the noun they modify. Most of the time, that noun will also get a definite article. Til dæmis, þetta jakkinn minn. Þetta húsið þitt? Ég set töskuna mína á borðið. If you want to emphasize who something belongs to, you can put the possessive pronoun before the noun. This has the same meaning as saying, this is my jacket in English, so only place it before for extra emphasis. When the possessive pronoun comes before the noun has no article. Þetta þinn jakki. Ekki drekka mitt kaffi. There are two main types of noun that don't get a definite article with a possessive pronoun. The first group is nouns that describe close personal relationships, e.g. mamma, pappi, bróðir, systir, sonur, dóttir, and so on. Crucially, vinur and vinkona are also in this group. However, words to describe your partner, such as maður, kona, kærasti or kærasta, do get the definite article. Til dæmis, sonur minn býr í Noregi. Mamma mín á þessa peysu. Koma vinir þínir með. En kærastan mín heitir Ásdís. Maðurinn minn elskar súkkulaði. The second group consists of abstract nouns such as líf and hugmynd. In speech, they will sometimes get the definite article, but it's very rare to hear, for example, líf with a definite article. Líf mitt svo skemmtilegt. Þetta hugmynd þín. Grammatically, the following three possessive pronouns behave similarly to adjectives. Minn, my, þinn, your, and sinn, his, her, its, or their. So they all decline for case, gender, and number. Like adjectives, they inherit their grammatical properties from the nouns they describe. This means that the gender of these words agrees with the grammatical gender of the possession rather than the natural gender of the owner. And the number also agrees with the possession. So, þetta gleraugun þín. Bíllinn minn á verkstæðinu. Hann talar við mömmu sína. So, sína is kvenkyn, but hann is karlkyn. The declension pattern for these three pronouns is the same, so you just change the first letter as applicable. The declension itself is similar to einn, although there is the additional quirk of the ear changing to e in forms with a single n, so e.g. minn versus mín. So in the karlkyn we have minn and min, kvenkyn, mín, mína, neuter, hvorugkyn, mitt, mitt, and then in the fleirtala, plural, karlkyn, mínir, mína, kvenkyn, mínar, hvorugkyn, mín. Sin can be a tricky pronoun to master. English has no direct equivalent to sin. It's reflexive, meaning it refers back to the subject of the sentence and is only used in the third person. It can be translated as his, her, its, or their, depending on the context. Björn málar húsið sitt. Björn paints his own house. Anna lagar peysuna sína. Anna fixes her own jumper. Barnið borðar matinn sinn. The child eats its own food. Þeir taka töskurnar sínar. They take their own bags. Þær þrífa diskana sína. They wash their own plates. Þau fara upp í rúmin sín. They go up to their beds. Here you can see another way of illustrating the relationship between sin and the subject. So it always refers back to the subject of the sentence as the possessor. So here sitt refers back to Björn, meaning that he's painting his own house. This is opposed to a sentence such as Björn málar húsið hans. Hans means his, but it's not Björn, it's some other han, which is not mentioned in the sentence. So logically, because sin always refers back to the subject of the sentence, it can't form part of the subject itself. So, for example, if we were talking about Björn's house, we can't say húsið sitt rautt, or Anna's jumper, peysan sín slitin. Slitin, it means like worn out or threadbare. So in these kind of sentences, the non-reflexive pronouns must be used instead. So we have to say húsið hans rautt and peysan hennar slitin. So let's look at this in more detail by comparing the meaning of these pairs of sentences. So, for example, Magnús drekkur kaffið sitt versus Magnús drekkur kaffið hans. So in the first one, Magnús is drinking his own coffee, and in the second one, he's drinking some other Hans coffee. It's some Han which is not mentioned in the sentence. In the second one, börnin borða morgunmatinn sinn versus börnin borða morgunmatinn þeirra. So the first sentence, they're eating their own breakfast. In the second one, they're eating somebody else's breakfast, some other þeir or þær or þau that isn't mentioned in the sentence. Same thing is happening in the last one. Krakkarnir borða samlokurnar sínar. They're eating their own sandwiches. And then the second sentence, krakkarnir borða samlokurnar þeirra, somebody else's. So you can see there again the gender agreement and the number agreement. So kaffið is neuter, therefore sitt will be neuter. Morgunmatinn is karlkyn, so sin is karlkyn. And samlokurnar is kvenkyn and it's fleirtala, so sínar is kvenkyn and fleirtala as well. Óbeygjanleg eignarfornöfn, so indeclinable possessive pronouns. The following possessive pronouns do not decline. Hans, his, hennar, her, háns, their, non-binary, þess, its, and þeirra, their, plural. Okkar, our, and ykkar, your, plural. So they always have the same form regardless of the case, gender, and number of the noun that they are modifying. Where these pronouns are gendered, they agree with the natural gender of the owner and not the grammatical gender of the noun. So let's have a look at some examples. Bókin hans mjög skemmtileg. His book is very interesting or fun. So bókin is feminine, but hans is referring to some han, some male owner of the book, which is not in the sentence. Kakan hennar svo ljúf. Her cake is so delicious. Skórinn hans rennblautur. Their shoe is soaking wet. Bánsinn þess týndur. Its teddy bear is lost. So it is probably referring to barnið here. Húsin þeirra eru til sölu. Their houses are for sale. Ertu búin að sjá nýja eldhúsið okkar? Have you seen our new kitchen? Ég elska sófana ykkar. I love your sofas. So always the same form no matter what the gender, number or case of the noun is.